Okay, hi everybody. Welcome. We're going to get started. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited because we are at our Ramona campus, and you see my bright green. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So this is a fun way to celebrate. So our Ramona campus is for our wildlife species. If you joined last week, we were at our Project Wildlife campus in San Diego, and we got to see some opossums and some of our songbirds and the different animals that we care for there. Up here in Ramona, we take more of our predator species. So we're going to see a few of those ambassador animals today, but here we've had bears, mountain lions, we've cared for eagles, bobcats, foxes, all sorts of things. And then we also have some raccoons, and we take care of baby skunks here as well. So baby season is coming up, so we're going to get lots of those wildlife animals in here. But I'm really excited for you to see this. This is a beautiful property, and we're going to be meeting some of our ambassador animals today, and those are ones who could not be released back to the wild. So our job here at Project Wildlife is to rescue a wild animal when they need it, usually because they're hurt or they're sick or they're orphaned, and then we rehabilitate or make them better. If they're sick, we make them healthy. If they're injured, we maybe, if they need a cast and they get stronger again, or they're orphaned and young, we get them old enough to be able to go back out into the wild and survive. And then our goal is to release them back to the wild, back to nature where they belong. But sometimes the animals can't do that for a certain reason. So we're going to be meeting some of those animals today, and we're going to be getting a tour from Angela. So I'm going to turn my camera around so you can meet Angela. She is one of our amazing, hello Angela, wildlife rehabilitation specialist. She's a supervisor, so she does a lot with our wildlife animals. So thank you for having us, Angela. Thanks for inviting us up to Ramona. And we are here in one of our wildlife ambassador habitats. So I'm going to hand the camera to Angela so she can tell you about who we are looking at over there.
Yeah, so here we have Casper the barn owl. And Casper came in when he was a young chick. He was very debilitated or very sick and just not doing well. And so essentially, our team had to hand feed Casper from a very young. It did get him used to working with people day in and day out, and essentially cause him to imprint or begin to see humans as the parent, really see him as part of his species. So unfortunately, Casper could not be released back into the wild for that reason. He does not have any injuries. He is fully flighted, so he could actually fly throughout this enclosure, but that is why he can't go back out into the wild, is because he doesn't have that natural fear of humans. And it's possible he could go up to someone and try to. It's about 2 to 3 meals a day. He does get some time out of his enclosure. The team has worked on handling him on a glove, much like falconry work. So if you ever see a barn owl with San Diego Humane Society, most likely it's Casper.
Can I ask, why do they call them barn owls? How'd they get that name?
Oh, that's a good question, Stacy. I'm not sure.
Do they live in barns?
I imagine so. Most owls you will see kind of in grasslands or even forest habitats. My guess is that barn owls were seen a lot more, yeah, probably near barns, and that's why they got that name. That's a good question.
All right. So, and I missed your message, Laura. So if you're not able to hear us, let us know. We'll talk louder. But that is Casper. So you can see the dome shape of their face is really important to help them hear and hunt, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that kind of circular shape around his face.
It looks like we lost you for a little bit there. Sorry about that. Your it says the bandwidth is low. I'm assuming everyone else on the call is having the same message pop up on their screen, and it kind of shrunk the video here. So if you want to just
amazing hunter. Oh, definitely. Of quite a distance, as well as hear them. One fun fact about barn owls as well is they don't necessarily hoot. If you hear a hooting owl in your neighborhood, that's most likely a great horned owl. Barn owls have more of a screech-like sound. They definitely, their vocalizations just sound a little more different than great horned owls, and that's that typical hoot.
Very cool. He's so handsome.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we found out, but how old, do we know how old Casper is?
Yeah, Casper's about years old.
Humans. So and going up to people in the wild. So that's he has a flight cage where he can move around and have some space to himself.
Can you tell us once more how old Casper is? I think we missed that. Can you hear me, Stacy?
Um, we talk about
Can you hear me,
Richmond
Stacy?
playing with a toy that's interactive. Oh yes, yes. Sorry. Can you not hear
Oh,
us?
we were lost you for a little bit. We got right to where we were finding out how old Casper is, and it's cut out. So how old is
Oh,
Casper?
sorry. Okay, thank you for joining. Yeah, and we're out in the middle of Ramona, so hopefully our technical issues won't be a problem. But so Casper is 10 years old,
10
and like
years
we said,
old.
he had been with humans since he was a baby, and just got a little too used to them, and which is why he's not able to be released. So sometimes, oh my gosh, I see something over here. I don't know if you guys can spy an animal on this rock over here. Does anyone have a guess what kind of animal this is? Getting up to say hello.
Hi, Brown.
So does anyone? This, oh, Casper the Hours, yes, 10. And this is Brawley. And Brawley is a coyote. And so I'm going to have Angela take the phone and tell you a little bit about Brawley and why Brawley is here and how they work with Brawley too, because he looks like you could just go up and pet him like a dog, but we are not do that.
So Brawley is a coyote. Someone tried to keep her when she was very young. Essentially, as a coyote pup, they tried to keep her as a pet. Unfortunately, those people didn't realize that Brawley is a wild coyote. She has wild behaviors, and as much as you see her wagging her tail and looking quite friendly, she's not used to people. Coyotes are not used to people and are wild animals. So because Brawley was brought in when she was very young, she did become used to people, and we do work with her with certain behaviors such as sit, stay. She can actually shake, but that's a matter of her working with her various human counterparts to learn these behaviors, but definitely not something you want to do with your wild coyotes. You want to stay away from them and keep that natural fear of humans that they do have. They're not a domestic species, so they're not like your dogs and cats that have years of living and existing with humans. And so you want your coyotes to stay wild, and you don't want to interact with them if you see them out. The best thing to do if you see a coyote in your neighborhood is just let it be. You can always act large and make loud noises so that they continue to stay scared of humans, because that's going to be their natural behavior. Now, like I mentioned, Brawley does work with staff. It helps keep her mentally enriched. Essentially, want her to think, as she's in our care, and we want to keep her life enriched from day to day. So she does no sit. So if I go, Brawley, sit. Good girl. I'm going to toss this in for her. Oop, she didn't quite catch that one. That's okay. Brawley, sit. Good girl. She does no sit. Like I said, she can station. We train behaviors that are going to help her day-to-day care. So for example, we need to examine her. We want her to be comfortable when we do that. Now, one of our trucks just drove by, and you saw that kind of startled her. That shows just how naturally scared of new things coyotes can be. And that's why typically when you see them out in the wild, they're not looking to interact with people. They really just want to get away from you. Good girl, Brawley. But she's pretty comfortable with us, and that's where you see that she came right back.
And how old is Brawley?
Brawley's about 7. Yeah,
7.
she, I believe, is a 2018 season baby.
And I can see how big, what I like to show too is how big her habitat is. So she has a lot of space so that she can jump up on things. I've seen her on the rocks and on her habitat or her cage. So she has lots of things to explore. And I think you've mentioned it, but one of the most important things I think you guys do here is the enrichment. And we were talking about for like cats and dogs, that could be a wand toy that you're playing with your cat or hiding treats for your dog. So because they have all these natural wild behaviors, the staff here tries to engage those to keep them as enriched as possible, right? Because in the wild, she would probably have miles and miles and miles to explore. You have to kind of make up for that here, right?
Exactly,
Other things.
Stacy. Exactly. Very well said in the sense that we try to keep their minds mentally stimulated. What we'll do is sometimes we have egg cartons and we'll put her food in there for the day so that she actually has to go in there, tear it up. It's a way that keeps her busy, utilizing different types of boxes or just fun things that are new and may smell different. And so just to really try to encourage her to use her different senses like sight, sound, smell, as well as tearing up some things for fun.
Perfect. Okay,
I
I
have
forget how
a quick
quickly our time goes.
question
Yes,
from
a
the
question.
chat here. We're wondering, where was Brawley found, like the city or state? If you know.
So, yeah, that's a great question. She actually came from Brawley, California. So that is why she's named Brawley.
Interesting. So, and again, what I want to reiterate too, and we're going to see if we can find someone else, is that somebody found a coyote pup and tried to keep them and raise them as the, or maybe try to help them, whatever they did. But you should never, ever do that, whether it's a coyote, a squirrel baby, a lizard that you find. Wild animals want to be wild. So we need to do the best that we can to make sure that they stay wild. So if you see a wild animal that needs help, you need to take them to the professionals at Project Wildlife. And you can call our officers. They can come out and pick up a wild animal safely. If your parent is able to, like you see an injured squirrel or opossum and you're able to get that animal safely, that is fine too. But you want to take them to the professionals because it is actually against the law for you to keep a wild animal. So I'm going to have Angela hold this because she is taller. So she might, and you can zoom in and out, but and tell who this is.
Yeah, so as Stacy's mentioning, bringing in wildlife when you find them, it can be quite challenging to rehabilitate them. You want to minimize your interactions. You definitely don't want to talk to them more than you need to, or well, actually never talk to them. You don't want to pet them or coddle them, hug them. But here, so I say that because here we have Annie the bobcat, and you can see she's right up here on this platform doing what cats do and resting in the sun and just definitely enjoying herself with her sun bath. And Annie came in when she was a bobcat kitten. So she came in with her brother that was found. Unfortunately, we don't know what happened to their mother, but both of them went through our wildlife rehabilitation program. They were cared for several months as they got older. And then eventually we did release them. Annie actually was released at Blue Sky Preserve here in Poway in San Diego. And it was found after a few days, there was a bobcat was coming up to folks on the trail and people were taking selfies with her. Definitely not behavior you want to see from a wild bobcat. They should run and hide. Typically, they like to hide up high in trees so you never actually see them. But Annie was actually captured and brought back because it was realized that her time in our care caused her to become habituated or used to people. So it is very challenging to try to rehabilitate wildlife, and this is why it is important to limit interactions. Again, you don't talk to them, you don't hug them, you don't feed them like you would a dog or cat. You try to really keep their behaviors wild, minimize all human interaction so that they have that best chance to go back out in the wild and continue to live out their lives in the outdoors.
Excellent. Thank you. You're so much. You're so tall. There we go.
No worries. Yeah.
And I want to show what I think is super cool here is look how high that perch is that Annie is on. And there is nothing there except, I guess, this to jump from. So that just shows her amazing jumping skills, just like your house cat, but probably even better. She can probably go a little further. So yeah, so she's having a nice snooze up there. And again, you can see her big habitat here so that she has different areas. I even see like some couple tether balls to play with, maybe like you have on your playground. So just like your cat likes to, bat at balls and miss them around, here's a tunnel. Just like your cat might go through at home and really have fun. And so all those things help keep her entertained while she's here. And
And Stacy and
yeah,
Angela, we have another question. I don't know if you'll
great.
be able to answer this in like an accurate size, but how high can she jump?
Oh,
Oh, that's a great question. I am not too sure exactly how high she can jump from the ground, but I would say she can at least get herself up to 5 or 6 feet. The way she jumps up on that platform we saw is really by jumping onto one of the posts that are just below it. So yeah, she could easily jump up to 4 or 5 feet.
that's pretty incredible.
Wow,
Yes,
very cool.
and we're just going to walk over here quickly and try to get a close up. But so this is a flight cage. So remember, our goal is to release wild animals. We don't want them to live here if they don't have to. So we have to make sure that they can survive in the wild and do all the things that they need to do before we release them. So that means they need to be able to hunt or find their own food. They need to be strong enough to fly. So this huge building is a flight cage. So you can see this whole thing, it's covered. But so we might put our birds of prey, our raptors in here when we think they're ready to maybe be the final stage before release. And this gives them practice to, flap their wings and get strong and find their own food and do all of that. And then that's the final stage. So saying, hey, yeah, they're ready to go.
What we'll see is red shoulders and red-tailed hawks when they first come in and the babies are getting bigger. We do put them in that flight cage. Sometimes we see them flapping their wings, as Stacy mentioned. We know that they're not quite ready for release, but once they really start soaring from one length of the enclosure to the other, then we know that they're ready.
And then here we just have a fun visitor. So this guy just knows where to get good food and to get good care if he needs it, right? So this is a wild red shoulder or red tail?
Red-tailed.
Red-tailed hawk.
And I'll add it's a youngster because you can see
Sorry,
that
it's so
it
crooked.
still doesn't have its red tail. So it is most likely last season's baby or what we consider a juvenile. It is an adult, but it still hasn't gotten old enough to grow in that red tail just yet.
So here he's just been, whoops, sorry, I went too fast. He's just been hanging out here and enjoying the beautiful Ramona campus. So he doesn't need to be here. He's just a nice visitor and checking in on his friends that he'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's just here for for the view. But he's nice and healthy, but a cool spotting. So yeah, he's been hanging out here at the Ramona campus. So you'll see that this is a really big property. We're gonna walk, I'm gonna follow Angela, and we're gonna walk to the hospital real quick. We do have one patient here today who is a coyote, who will be returning back to the wild when they get healthier. But you can see, and we're gonna keep walking, but there's 13 acres up here on this property. So it's a really cool place. And we've had this campus for how long?
2020.
Since
Yeah,
2020.
so
So we've
5
been
years.
here for about 5 years. And this was a really great addition so that we could start helping, like we talked about, those predator species. And predators there's prey and predators. And so a prey animal is the ones who have predators who might eat them. So like for our mountain lions, our bobcats, our coyotes, they're hunting for their food, and it's sometimes other little animals. And so, oh, here's
Special guest.
hi, Micah. Here's our special guest. This is Copper.
Copper.
Tell us what kind of snake is Copper?
Yeah, so copper is a rosy boa. They are native to California and other states in the United States. They're more of a desert species. Copper is full grown, so he is an adult. He won't get any bigger than this. Quite a gorgeous looking snake, though.
Yes, look at him close.
Kind of like that silvery, orangey, brownish tones, some grays in there. Varying
Nice.
colors. Yeah. He's quite the camera snog.
That's right. He's like, I want my close up. He's a
Yes.
movie star.
Loves to be the center of attention.
So I know you guys out there probably know the word camouflage, which would be really important for Copper if he was out in the wild in the desert. You're going to see that blend in with all his environment.
Mhm.
Do you want to know the fun fact I know about rosy boas, Micah?
Please tell me.
They are, I think, one of the slowest snakes in the world. They can
That's
only go up to 1 mile per hour. So if you're afraid of snakes, you could definitely get away from Copper.
I think 1 mile per hour without having any legs or arms is still pretty
It's
impressive.
pretty impressive. The
Right?
fastest snake is 18 miles per hour, and I don't ever want to meet that snake.
Yeah, what snake is that?
That is a
Hopefully
black
not-
mamba. So
Okay,
no,
not
thank
on our
you.
continent, luckily.
No, thank you. So very cool. So you can see he's so docile. He's and this is just enrichment, just like with Micah. And you can see his habitat over there. He has some, hot places like the desert. Very cool. And he gets to help Micah do.
Mhm.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Any questions about Copper? Copper's like, I want to be the star of the show. Those other ones are hiding. Very cool close up. Thank you, Mike.
Of course.
It's a
Hi,
fun
everyone.
Copper. All right. So we're going to head back to the medical wing, you see. So this is where the veterinarians or the doctors are doing their work. And we have one of our who didn't know she was gonna be on camera. Okay, if you can go in there, you can just take it because I'm not.
I'm
Okay,
going to be quiet, everyone, because it is a medical procedure, so we don't want to disturb the veterinarians while they work.
Or is it rats? Or is it coyote? Oh, you take your pick.
Thank you so much, medical team. Thank you for all the work you do.
Awesome. Just very excited.
All right, everyone. So I wanted to be quiet while I was in there because they are hard at work. But this is a mange coyote that came in a few days ago. Unfortunately, this coyote most likely has a lowered immune system. So it did contract mange. What they're doing right now is mange is like a type of, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, mange is a type of, I don't want to misdefine it, but I think it's like a more of a parasite that essentially goes under the skin and attacks the immune system as well as just
So
the
they lose
skin
their
of the
hair.
animal.
So it can happen to your dogs,
Mhm.
our pet dogs as well. And it doesn't feel very comfortable.
Exactly. And as you can see, it's lost its fur. It's lost like a lot of the area of the skin is very sensitive. Now, this most likely could be due to a lowered immune system. So what tends to happen is when rodents eat rodenticide or rat poison, and then coyotes or bobcats eat those rats that have been poisoned, it does lower their immune system and make them more susceptible to this type of like diseases and parasites such as mange. So it's possible that this is what happened to that coyote. We don't know for certain, but we do tend to see cases like that due to rodenticide. And that's why it's important not to use rat poison.
Ever. And we can walk and learn more about this because I want to make sure that we have time. I know our time goes so fast, everybody. But this is our very cool, amazing medical team of doctors. And we're going about this way. We're turning around. That's all right. And so their job now is to help get that coyote healthy. We're going through our laundry room. But then if someone didn't see that coyote and call for help for that animal couldn't get help. So just like if you ever see any animal, a dog, a cat, a wild animal who needs help, that's why San Diego Humane Society is here. And we want you to call us so that we can make sure and get out there. Because that coyote, that would be really painful for him or her and would be suffering. So we don't want that to happen. So you just saw Brawley and her beautiful fur coat. And then I think it's highly contagious. So we don't want
because they have a lowered immune system. So thankfully, if you have a healthy dog at home, they're not quite as likely to get it as the coyotes are that maybe there's something else going on.
That's trure. Because if we're taking our pets to the veterinarian at least once a year to get their shots and their vaccinations and make sure they're healthy. So you can again see how big this property is. I'm really, really hoping that our next visitor is going to be out and wanting to be on camera because she is a lot of fun. So this is North America. So North America is Mexico, America, and Canada. This is North America's only pygmy hippo. And I think she's about to be the world's oldest living pygmy hippo. Oh, there she is. That we that we know about, that has been recorded. So her name is Hannah Shirley, and I'm going to get a quick view. We're going to get a better view of her, but I'll show you what we're about to go see. So do you see that? Do you see her right there? So there's a hippo, and you are like, "What the heck, Miss Stacy?" I thought you said we were taking care of local wildlife at our San Diego Humane Society, and hippos are certainly not local wildlife. So when we took over the Ramona campus here, it used to belong to the Humane Society of the United States, and Hannah Shirley was living here. And so when we took over, we said, we'll keep taking care of Hannah Shirley. So I think she's 51 now.
Yes, she's 51. She'll be 51 and a half in May.
Okay,
We'll take care.
do I need to be quiet? Oh, I'm staying here. Okay. I never know what I'm supposed to do around here. So she's going to be 51 years old in May. That's incredible. So Angela's going to go in, and sometimes Hannah Shirley says, I'm napping and I'm going to stay napping and don't bother me. And sometimes she says, oop, snack time. But your teachers can also find, we have lots of fun YouTube videos of Hannah Shirley on our San Diego Humane Society YouTube page, because we've had birthday parties for her. We sometimes celebrate holidays for her. So she is very loved and adored here at, so I can come on in. Okay.
Yeah, come on in.
Oh my gosh, this is a treat for me too. So I don't always get to see Hannah Shirley. So it's fun to see her, but she definitely looks like, I'm hoping she'll open her mouth for us because it is big and she's got a lot of big teeth. So there's Hannah Shirley.
She is.
There she is. Oh my gosh. So she is having a nice snooze. She doesn't even care that we're here, does she, Angela?
Nope, not at all.
So she, what is her care like? Because I imagine she eats a lot.
She has a lot of care similar to horses. So she eats a lot of straw, horse pellets. We do give her veggies every evening, as well as she gets fruit 3 times a day.
Excellent. So, and I know last time we were here, someone was brushing her with a big broom, and that's part of keeping her skin clean.
Exactly. Even though she does swim a lot, and you could see she has this nice big pool.
So that's her pool. Oh, she loves to go in her pool. And here's her big habitat. And then does she like belly rubs? Or do we leave her just maybe with a broom when we're cleaning her?
She does enjoy belly rubs with the broom. One thing I will point out to you all is if you look at her skin, now we don't typically always touch her, but sometimes we do have to do examinations. So it's not uncommon that we come and check out her skin. Sometimes there's little pores that are glistening, so you can kind of see them here. And that's her natural sunscreen. She's not really secreting that right now, which is okay, but you could see that there's a change in coloring here from this skin to that skin, and that's because the team has already come in and most likely given her moisturizer. This is a bit drier where maybe they weren't
So
able
she
to
gets
give it to her.
moisturizer or lotion like we do for our skin. So yeah, she is a fun, so maybe when we walk back, or she'll maybe decide to wake up and get a snack, but she is breathing deeply right now and happy to be taking her nap, and the sun is coming out. So I think she's just going to keep on sunbathing. But yeah, she's a lot of fun. So I know Miss Laura just posted some video links in the chat, because you can see how much fun she is and how big her mouth is.
It's her nice barn, and she does have a heater to keep her nice
heat
and warm
lamp.
during the cold winters.
So that's where she sleeps at night usually.
Exactly.
Yes. And we have one more animal to see. I know we're maybe a little over our time, but we're going to go see Rita the raccoon. And Rita the raccoon is another ambassador animal, and she's been working really closely with one of our trainers. And so she can actually do some commands. So just like with your dog, if you're trying to teach them some commands like sit. Oh, it's over that way?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where we're going. It's so big here. You would teach them, how to sit or shake. We do the same things with the animals here. So it's all positive reinforcement. So we don't yell at them or get mad at them because that's not going to be a way for them to trust us. We use these magic things, treats. So treats are the way to create a good bond with your pet when you're training and make training fun. Because yeah, you want them to enjoy it and then they're going to want to learn. So that's the way we work with our animals here. It's just a little less contact. So I've seen videos when we had bears here and they'd use like a ball on a stick to teach them touch from the other side of the fence. We wouldn't go in with the bears, but there's lots of great ways for you to kind of the same ideas that we would do with your pets. We would do here just a little less contact. So tell us why Rita the raccoon is here, Angela.
Yeah, so Rita came in when she was a youngster. She was all by herself. And unfortunately, we don't know what happened to mom. So she went through the rehab program as well. She was paired up with different raccoons, but we always noticed that she didn't really bond with them. She wasn't as interested as having interactions with the other raccoons. And so she came in one day or came into the hospital because she was not feeling well. And we realized that she was not going to be releasable. She was very used to us. That day, we just picked her right up and examined her. And that is not the type of behavior that a natural raccoon
No.
or a wild raccoon should have. So she was deemed non-releasable.
Exactly. So again, if you have an owl flying up to you or a bobcat approaching you or a raccoon approaching you, people outside don't know, oh, this is one of the friendly ones from Project Wildlife. So we can't have wild animals out there approaching humans. I love raccoon hands so much, everybody. I guess are they called raccoon hands? What are they called?
No, technically they are paws.
Paws,
They don't
okay.
have opposable thumbs. If they had the opposable thumbs like we do, then they'd be hands.
So Rita the raccoon is very cute. So this again makes you think, oh, I want a raccoon.
Station.
Oh, so she just said station, and Rita went to that little block and she got a treat. So she went where she was supposed to go, and then she got rewarded. So the goal, I do not want you to walk away from this saying, "Oh, I want a pet raccoon," because that is certainly not what we want. So again, someone took her from the wild, or she got too used to humans. So she just said hands. Oh my gosh, Rita, you are the grand finale, and she knows it. She is very cute. So their hands are so
Station.
she keeps saying station and then she knows where to go. So their hands are so agile. They're which makes them very good at opening your trash cans. Don't they? So that's how they can be so mischievous, right?
They're very, very smart. I gave her a box yesterday, just a cardboard box, kind of like the little Lipton, the one that you can see there. And she opened.
She just she wanted to take my phone. That was adorable.
Now you can see that she does. Her paws do look very hand-like. But what makes them the difference from our hands is that there's not an opposable thumb. One cool thing about raccoons is their back legs, they actually can rotate almost all the way around, like 180 degrees. And that allows them to easily climb up and down trees. If you ever watch them climb, they are very good at gripping, and they essentially can just climb right back up or down, faced both ways.
She's like, what do I have to do for a treat? Look how cute I am. Oh my gosh, I would give her treats. I'd give her 100 treats because look how cute she is. Oh my gosh.
Gentle.
So yeah, she is very gentle. And as you can see, yeah, she's gotten really, really used to people and enjoys being around people, which is not good for a wild animal. So she will stay here as an ambassador. And then
Here, let me put some treats.
the role of our ambassadors is not just to look cute and oh my gosh, I have a raccoon on my leg, friends. So she's going to close this box.
Some treats for her.
And then Rita's like, give me that box. So this is enrichment. She's not just getting a treat, she has to figure it out. So do you see her using her hands? So the role of our ambassadors is not just for us to be able to come here and look how cute they, oh my gosh, she's reaching her little hand in there. It's to teach you about them and how important they are. So, and to be kind to them when they're out in their natural home, which sometimes might be a tree in your backyard or under your deck. Sometimes they get there, or we see them in nature, and we want to be kind. We don't want to cause any harm. We want to be as respectful as possible and coexist, share our world with them, right? Because they have as much right to be here as we do. And we want to make sure that we're not doing things like putting out poisons or glue traps or those kinds of things that could really cause harm. Oh my gosh, close up, Rita. She did it. She's too smart.
That was amazing.
She just snuck her little hand in there and got all her treats. So she is a smart one. And again, that works her brain, just like when you're in school doing your reading or your multiplication tables, you're working your brain, and then you go outside for recess and work your body. And so she needs a little bit of both of those things too. Are there any questions about the amazing Rita, the raccoon? And you can see videos of her on our website or our YouTube channel as well. So we like to keep sharing about our incredible ambassadors and how amazing they are. She is pretty cute. I could just watch Rita all day. Couldn't you?
She's very smart.
She's very
You
smart.
can see she knows where the treats come from.
She does. And I think she also likes being on camera, doesn't she? She's a little show off, as she should be. So she is so is she big for a raccoon, or just the right size? She just gets well fed here, or
Yeah,
she does
she
that
is
average?
definitely well fed. You can see that she's got a nice little round body, but she is actually pretty small for most of the raccoons that we see. And again, that is knowing that when she came into our care, she wasn't necessarily as developmentally at the same level as the other raccoons.
Okay.
She never quite grew to be as large as them.
Okay. So yeah, so she was, yeah, wasn't ready to be a wild girl. So yeah, you can see again, her habitat goes way back there. I see some swings, I see some tunnels. So again, lots of things to enrich her. And then there she is, wanting some more food. She knows that command hands very well. All right, well, I could just watch Rita for the whole hour. So are there any questions out there about Rita? She's
Rita?
I'm
yes,
not
and
seeing any
again,
questions right now,
okay.
Stacy, but
And
I'm just
again, this is not so
swooning
you
over
want a
her.
raccoon. Okay, perfect. No. So this is not so you want a raccoon as a pet, but so that when you see raccoons in the wild, you enjoy them from a distance and be kind to them and know that they are just there. And you close your trash or your bird feeders, or don't put cat and dog food outside, because that is, she hears an airplane. That is what attracts our wild animals to our yards if you don't want them there. So thank you all for joining us today at our Ramona campus and learning about what we do. And remember, if you ever see any kind of animal, wild or pet, that needs help, you know who to call so that they can get the help that they need, like that coyote we saw having some surgery today. So thank you, Angela, for joining us and telling us about the cool stuff that you do. And thanks everyone out there for joining us. And hopefully we will see you next month, where we're going to be all about domestic dogs, the regular doggies. So thanks everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a good day. Bye. Bye, Rita.